Texas Math Mundo audience, are we in store for a treat today? Today we're going to get a middle school, junior high competitive mathematics perspective. This is the first time I treat the subject, and it's such an important subject because in the middle school and the junior high is when a kid can really have their academic trajectory really altered. And so today in the house we have Kenneth White, junior high coach, Mr. Adrian Chapa, a proud hawk down the valley who's been doing this for 10 years, and he's going to provide us with a wonderful perspective on junior high competitive mathematics. That right ahead. Let me take a moment and ask that if you enjoy this material, that you please hit the subscription button and the notification bell, that you make a comment below, and that you smash that like button. Right ahead, junior high mathematics, Mr. Adrian Chapa, a veteran middle school coach, shares his perspective on junior high competitive mathematics. My name is Saul Cantu, and this is Texas Math Mundo. Are we in store for a real treat today? We have a well-established, accomplished middle school or junior high coach, Mr. Adrian Chapa, who's been coaching competitive mathematics in the middle school level for the last 10 years and can give us a valuable insight into the junior high competitive mathematics world. Welcome, Mr. Adrian Chapa.
Thanks for having me, Sol. It's nice to meet you.
Hey, thanks for being here. You know, that middle school world, that junior high world, that's a whole area that my channel has really not explored, and it's so important. So I'm looking very forward to the perspective that you can provide with junior high competitive mathematics. Let me first ask, what school are you at?
I'm at Kenneth White Junior High.
Okay, and what's the mascot over there?
We're the Hawks.
So you're a proud hawk?
Yes, sir. I actually went to that school myself as a student.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that in Mission, Texas?
Mission, yeah, we're on the western edge of Mission, Texas.
All right, all right. And how long have you been coaching?
This last year would have been 10 years coaching. Started off just doing number sense, picked up math and calculators as the years went on, and then started math counts a little bit later.
All right, so you're a veteran coach at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I know the drill. And you get better every year. I'm sure the coaches would agree.
Yeah. And so you're from Mission. So did you go to Mission High School?
Yeah, born and raised. Born in McAllen because of the hospital, right? But raised in Mission. Went to Marcel Elementary, which is one of the K. White feeder schools. Then to K. White, and then I graduated from Mission High School.
Wow. Where was college?
I started off at UTSA and then finished up the last 2 years at UTPA, which is now UTRGV.
All right. And the degree, what degree did you get?
I studied finance, and then later on I went back and got a master's in educational leadership.
Oh, wow. So you got a master's. Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so how did you get into teaching, coaching? How did that happen? What was your path?
Actually, the teaching was kind of, I'd never expected to be a teacher. I'm being honest. But I'm a finance major in 2008, 2009. We all know that financial collapse that happened at that time. So pretty much my senior year of school, that was going on. And, job prospects just weren't looking good in the finance and the banking sectors. So I tried, went out looking for jobs. It was slim pickings. They were hiring people with experience, which I understand. So it's hard for a 22-year-old, 23-year-old kid get a job. And in the meantime, I was still working, had a full-time job working at a library. And then I saw a posting for an Algebra 2 tutor at Mission High School. So I decided to do that part-time. I do that in the morning, and then I go to my full-time job in the evening. And then after a while, the teacher that I worked with was really great. Her name's Miss Barrera. She's like, why don't you try, have you thought about teaching? I was like, honestly, no, but maybe, right? And my sister was teaching at that time, and she's like, just do it. And then she came and brought me, I remember she brought me her credit card. It's like, here, register for that test and take that certification test. So actually, you go through the alternate certification program and then eventually take the test. So pretty much from that year that I graduated, I got certified and then jumped into teaching after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
And then coaching was kind of a cool little story. When I got to KY, it only been about 9-10 years since I was a student there, right? So some of my teachers were still working there, like they're on my team and whatnot. And one of my teachers was the coordinator for UIL. And she's like, as soon as she saw me, she's like, you got to coach a math event, And I'm like, no, like, I'm just trying to figure out, teaching. Like, I'm not an education major. It's kind of hard for me to get started. So I avoided it for 2 years. And then the third year, one day I was just walking, through campus to get to my car. And I passed by a number sense practice going on. And I could hear the kid and the coach trying to figure out a number sense problem. And they were going about it, this very, number sense. You don't know a strategy. You could be there 2 minutes trying to figure something out, right? And I said, hey, can I help you out really quick? And I showed him the strategy. The kid picked it up right away. His name was Edgar Garza. I still remember him. He was the first kid I worked with. And I decided that week, I'm going to come in and help them out because it was their district UIL week, meet that week. And, so from that experience, the following year, I decided to just go ahead and take over number sense. And then, eventually math and the other events came.
Hey, once it gets into your blood, it's over, man. You love it.
Yeah. And it's cool to see, like, in middle school, it's different in that to get to TMSCA, you have to qualify at one of the meets. You don't get to just sign up. So getting a kid to sign up to qualify was pretty cool because it had been about I don't remember the exact number, but somewhere between like 7 to 10 years since we had a kid go to state up to that point. So everybody was pretty excited about it happening.
And do y'all do math counts also, or just UIL?
Yeah, math counts. Actually, we started kind of late into my coaching career, but I know back in the 80s when it first started, I don't know if you heard of Adelina Alanis.
I do. She's a legend.
Yeah, living legend, man. She was at KY. She was a number sense coach there, and then would coach the Mission High School team as well. But she started a team in the 80s, and they were really good. But I think from all the 90s up until 2016, I think is when I started the team again. We weren't participating in it. And then I asked central office if I could start a team. They were all for it. So we started doing that in 2016-17, that school year.
Oh, wow.
It's been great. We're kind of the newbies in that field in the Valley, at least. And we've been able to get to state every year since we started,
Wow. I'm so impressed. I know you're ready. That's why I got you on here. That's awesome stuff. I will ask you though, if you run into Miss Alanis, man, let her know. Nudge her my way. I've been trying to get her on the show.
For sure. Yeah, I'll give her a call after this if you want.
Hey, please do, man. I appreciate you. So what I really want to ask, why is junior high competitive mathematics so important?
I think for kids that have that curiosity maybe with math. Like you see it a little different, or maybe you're figuring out your classroom math really easy and you need a new challenge. This is a great way to go out and do math that maybe at times, 5 grade levels above what you're supposed to be doing. Like in middle school, they kind of cap out at about algebra 2 or so. And then just learning like what it is to challenge yourself, I think is really important. and you're pushing yourself and you're studying something that most people like despise, right? You ask them what's the subject you hated the most, and they say math, right? So if you can build, that skill into something that's strong for you, you have this competitive edge over, the majority of the population, I'd say.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's never too late to get started learning math, but the truth is, if you start in the middle school, it really, really helps, man. If you get that trajectory started early. So I really applaud what you do, getting them started early, man. That's awesome. What are the greatest challenges that you face as a junior high coach?
Well, for me in particular, I think just the area I serve is, for those that don't know, our campus is about 90% economically disadvantaged students. So we have students who don't have very many resources at home. So when they come in, it's rare that they had any experience with competitive mathematics up to that point, right? Like you got a lot of schools upstate in more affluent areas, they might have kids already working like elementary TMSCA or art of problem solving. I know in Sugar Land, they got like that momentum learning program out there. It's just amazing. We just don't have that here. So I think the hardest part for me is kind of having to catch up and close that gap as much as I can. I'm not going to be able to close it all the way. Those kids, especially in the Houston area, are amazing. But, try to close it up as close as we can and just be competitive about it. We can go out there and have a fighter's chance, a puncher's chance, right?
I'm so happy you mentioned that because what you define as a success is not necessarily winning the state championship because we all start at different places. As long as we're all growing and learning, that's success. But in your decade of coaching middle school or junior high mathematics, what do you consider your greatest successes?
Well, that's tough. As a coach or like kids or there's many ways to think about it. I think for me at this point, it's the fact that like a little thing like I don't have to recruit anymore. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it kind of became a word of mouth thing.
Really?
I was able to build a program where the kids just come up and say, "Hey, I want to join the math team." I'm like, "Yeah, come in."
Wow.
I think that's probably the proudest moment because it means that you've made some type of difference, and like parents and people in the community are hearing about it and they want to be a part of it. But as far as individual kids, I had a bunch of kids place at the state meet, and that's always fun to see. And now I'm getting old enough where some of my former kids are like in college and maybe like already some of them working, and you get to see them. Like I ran into a student the other day at a convenience store, and he's working there, and he's like, I'm like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, I'm going to school to be a math teacher. And I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome." So, and then you got others being engineers and doctors and what else. So just seeing their success is probably the proudest thing for me.
I was going to ask you about recruiting, but it seems like you've already created a culture, an environment that appreciates mathematics, so it's just working on its own now.
Yeah, when I first started the program, of course, nobody knew, what we were doing. So I had to go out to like the teachers and ask them, "Hey, can I talk to your GT class, or your pre-AP class?" And I just go in there and explain what TMSCA was, and I get a couple kids here and there that would start joining, and then like in May, I used to go to the elementary feeders and ask if I can talk to their fifth graders to see if they'd be interested. But the last, I'd say like 3 or 4 years, I really don't have to do that anymore. And like I don't have enough calculators, even if I wanted to bring in more kids. I kind of cap out at about 30 to 40, that's about it.
Wow. Because I was going to ask you, and this is the question that all coaches must confront, and it's a hard question.
Yeah.
How do you finance it all? Fundraising. How do you do that?
So we have a budget, like a UIL budget, because the majority of the things we do all year are UIL meets. We'll go to regular invitationals. So we'll pay for entry fees through that budget. And then our district mission's pretty good about helping us out with TMSCA. That's our biggest expense is that state trip. They'll pay about half of it, and then we got to figure out the other half as a campus. So what we do is when we host an invitational or a TMSCA qualifier, we'll take those funds and pay for the travel expenses for that state trip.
Okay, okay, yeah.
We also have some local sponsors that are great about just donating T-shirts and stuff like that to us. So that, just local builders, home builders, and things like that.
Oh, really? You got some businesses to help out then?
Yeah, like my brother-in-laws, they own construction companies, so they're like, yeah, just let me know when you need T-shirts, and we got you. So even when their kids aren't on the team, they're always helping out.
I love to hear that when the community contributes,
Yeah.
because you're creating the next level of engineers. That's awesome, and it's a value that you're instilling in the children. That's awesome. So I was going to ask, how do you run the program? Do y'all have a class? What's the practice regimen like? Do you go to many tournaments?
So we try having a class. It doesn't work out as nice. It's hard to justify sometimes an elective like that with our central office. But when possible, we'll put them in like an advisory class where I could see them, when they're not, especially the kids that are already performing well on their assessments for STAR and whatnot. We give them a little break and then come with me and I can just pick topics and we'll explore, random math things. I don't like to necessarily say like, oh, we're going to practice number sense today. I'd rather teach a topic and then let the kid kind of apply to whatever event they decide to compete in. So for the most part, it's after school.
Okay.
I practice every day. We're there Monday through Friday. I used to kind of have a day for each event, like this day's only number sense. But it became kind of hard with, we have really good programs at our school, like robotics. We used to have robotics. We have now like an esports team at our campus. You name it, band, sports. These kids are involved in all kinds of things. So I just ask them like, come in X amount of days per week and pick whatever event you want to practice for that meet, go for it. And then once the kids are taking a practice test, like maybe like 45 minutes into it, that's when I'll stop everyone and I'll say, all right, now I'm going to show you how to, work with a regular polygon or whatever it is for that day, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
As far as meets, we, I think we attend 7 UIL meets like throughout the year. And then when UIL district is done for us in early February, then we kind of switch gears to TMSEA and we'll have those 3 TMSEA qualifiers and then the state meet at the end. So it ends up becoming 11 meets in total.
Wow. And are you filling up a bus for these meets?
Yeah, we got like, it ends up being like a bus for the math team and a bus for the rest of the events.
Wow. Awesome. So, I want to know, what is the middle school, junior high competitive math scene like throughout the state? Are there many teams in the valley, or how about the entire state? How common is it?
I think here in the valley, we got a pretty healthy scene, especially around the Mission area. We have, I don't know if you're familiar with Mission, but we got 2 school districts in one city. You have Mission School District and you got Sherryland. So Sherryland's like where Derek Lee and Daniel and them are from, right? It's the east part of our town. And you got them. So we have 4 middle schools in Mission, K. White, Alton, Mission Junior High, and Cantu. And then Sherryland has B.L. Gray and Sherry North, which goes to Pioneer. And those are always strong teams. They're pretty competitive.
Are you
and then outside? No. What's that? Sorry.
Are your kids going to those schools?
No. Those are all middle schools that we compete with.
Oh, those are middle school. Oh, my bad. Okay, cool.
So those are all like our kind of our district rivals. Like we're all in the same district. And then you've got like La Jolla has a pretty, like they got a great coordinator over there who gets them really involved. You've got PSJA, like where Santos, and so those middle schools are pretty good. Yes. Kevin, sorry, I said Santos. Oscar's
he's a coach. Yeah, 9-time champ.
yeah, legend. And then you got some charter schools that are really strong. We have South Texas Preparatory Academy and Rising Scholars. They're part of the same South Texas ISD, but they always got strong meets. So I love when we go and we're all at one meet because it's pretty competitive. As far as in the state, man, there's some powerhouses out there. I mean, you're from Houston, so you know what I'm talking about. You got those 6A schools
Fort
like
Settlement.
Fort Settlement's like
Quail Valley.
That's like probably the top of the mountain, right? Fort Settlement, and then you got Quail Valley. I've been seeing like a new school, well, new to me, Sartarsha. Maybe I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah, Fort Bend.
They're doing really good. You got the Paralyn schools out there. Dory, pretty. And then I heard Dallas now is kind of pushing TMSEA as well up there. But yeah, I can't go without giving a shout out to Flower Bluff, man. That school is That's if you need to talk to somebody in middle school, man. Anthony Gillespie, the coach there,
All right.
he'd be a great person to talk to. He's got a great program there, just super strong. I mean, their number sense team is impressive.
Well, here's where I'm going. Do your kids go into Sharyland High School and to Sharyland Pioneer High School?
No, so my students would go to Mission High School.
Okay, cool.
And then so there's like two middle schools that go to Mission High School. It'd be K White and Alton.
Okay.
And then there's another high school in Mission called Mission Veterans. They're 5A though. And you got their 2 feeders. And then Sharyland has 2 high schools, and each high school has its own feeder.
I would say you're describing a pretty healthy environment for the middle school. I'm very happy to hear that. But if a parent or a student does not have a competitive mathematics team or math counts program, I really encourage the parents to go talk to administrators and let them know that that's in demand. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, make it it's the teachers a lot of times can ask for things and demand things, but when parents show up at central office or talk to board members, you'd be surprised how fast things happen.
And are there a lot of parents? Is there a lot of vocal parents who?
I mean, our district supports us pretty good. I can't complain about that. You know, they give us a budget to compete with. You know, they help us get to state, paying for those expenses. So, you know, when I wanted math counts, they were all for it. Like, go for it, start a team. So, fortunately, on my end, I haven't been in a situation where I'd be like, hey, can you go vouch for us at Central, because our school district, you know, supports it as best they can so far.
Awesome. What is your favorite part about being a junior high math coach? What's your favorite part?
Probably just seeing the progress from like 6th to 8th grade. You know, they come in and I try like, you know, isolate the 6th graders in the beginning because I don't want to get intimidated when they see the 8th graders working on stuff. But you see their face and they're like, I'll never be able to solve that problem. And then by the end of 6th grade, they're solving it. Forget 8th grade, right? So it's cool to see them like just progress and get better and better. And I tell them all the time, like, you know, when you're young, they probably think like I'm really good at math and Mr. Chapa knows how to do this and that. I'm like, dude, by the time you get out of high school, you're going to be smoking. Like, don't even worry about it. So it's just cool to see that progress throughout the years.
Awesome. Hey, what calculator are you putting in their hands?
I think, here we go. The 35S.
The 35S. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. RPN.
Oh, yeah, you got to.
Hey, would you like to make a shout out to maybe former students, to current day administrators that are helping you out, parents? Give me some shout outs, people who inspired you maybe.
Yeah, well, let me just start with our campus because our principal, Brenda Betancourt, she's awesome, man. Like, she goes out of her way to get us. If I say, hey, can you get me like 5 calculators? We got some messing up. She'll order 20. Wow. You know, she's one of those that comes in and volunteers at meets that we're hosting, helps grade, helps, you know, judge if we need her. But she's awesome. So her, our staff, the other principals, our teachers, like, they're really supportive of our students. Like, you know, they cheer them on, they encourage them, wish them luck all the time. As far as supporters, well, I mean, it's a lot of people, man. I'm really blessed to be where I'm at. And there's one that comes to mind right away. He's actually like our one of our rival school coaches. His name's Ross Pena. A good buddy of Peter's. Peter will probably know who he is.
Okay.
I think Peter would actually help coach his team a couple years back at the middle school level. But he was my former teacher in elementary in 6th grade. Back then, our school district had elementary up to 6th grade. It just changed not too long ago. But he was my teacher, and when I got into coaching, you know, of course I ran into him and he's like, hey man, you got to coach calculator. And I'm like, nah, I'm all right. You know? He pushed it. And then even talked to my principal, like went behind my back and talked to my principal, and he came and talked to me at the time. But man, like, this guy invited me to his practice, like, come sit in on a practice. And I was just in the back like a student watching and learning, and he taught me how to use RPN on the calculator. He's been really supportive, man. So
what's his name again?
Rosbel Pena.
All right.
Call him Ross, but Ross Pena. Yeah,
right.
Man, he was awesome. Got me going, and to this day, even though like we have to compete against each other, he's like a huge supporter. He loves what I do.
Where's he at?
He's at Alton Memorial Junior High. Okay. That's the other campus that feeds to Mission High School.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Of course, like coming up as far as inspirations, well, if you work at K White, man, and you do UIL, Adelina Alanis is kind of the GOAT there, so
Adelina Alanis, yes.
you gotta respect what she did, man. Just multiple state champions. Like I got to actually know her a little bit as a kid because my older sister, which is Ricky's mom, Ricky Ochoa's mom, she's classmates with her kids. So like they'd invite us over when we were little, and I got to meet her at that point. So she's been real supportive. Of course, just try to kind of follow in her steps and make a team as strong as she had, hopefully one day.
Yeah, she's really doing something, man.
And then, as a coach, man, like the biggest support system is usually the other coaches, So I'm gonna give a shout out to like Mr. Rosso at Mission Junior High. You got Ms. Guerra at Cantu, and Ross, of course, at Alton, and Ms. Gonzalez at Sherryland North. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of names, but those are the people that I pretty much talk to the most.
Awesome. I got a very tough question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In a decade of coaching, of memories, I'm asking you to pick one memory that stands out as your most favorite.
I'm gonna say the first time we ever won a team trophy at TMSEA.
Oh, really?
Because up until that point, we'd gone and I think we get like 10th and 12th, top 6 get a team trophy. And then when I first started, we were like in a lower classification. And then when they introduced 6A, we got bumped up to 6A. So the next year I go and I see Fort Settlement and Quail Valley and the Village. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're so far behind them. It's not even close. And then in 1 year, we go from like 15th or whatever it was to 3rd place. And we finally were able to get up on that stage. And since then, we've managed to get on that stage every time.
Awesome.
But that was such a cool team. We were the underdog. We're always the underdogs, right? When you go to that meet. But that year especially, I remember, I forget his name, but the coach at Dory, he was like, where are you guys from? Like they had never seen.
Paul Thornton?
I have no idea. I see, like, it's someone I see once a year, every year, but I just don't know his name,
Okay.
He always wears a ball cap. Nice dude. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Great stuff. I'm going to ask you to give several groups of people some advice. First thing, can you give some advice to young students who may come across this interview?
Like wanting to join like a math team?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say give it a shot. Like, if you got something in you that's telling you, I think I might, or like maybe you're hesitant to go, like maybe I'm not good enough, you got to get that out of your head and just go join. Like you never know what you're going to be good at. And whether you place or not, like you're becoming better. You're going to get better at math. I promise you. If you practice UIL math, you're going to leave better than you were when you got there to that class. So don't get so caught up on necessarily the awards. There's thousands of kids every year doing like TMSEA, for example, and only 20 get to make it onto that stage, right? So while getting there is an amazing feat, it's not what defines you. You can still be a mathematician whether you won a competition or not. Shouldn't be the end goal. So just go out there. If you do join a team, look for mentors, right? Look for the older kids that can help you out. Stay close with your coach. Ask them for extra practice materials. Whatever it is you want to do to get better, do it. But just stay involved and get involved.
Awesome. How about some advice for some fellow coaches or potential fellow coaches?
Coaches, just make sure you're doing it for the kids. I told you, a little while earlier, like when I first started, I was really competitive. I wanted to win, right? I wanted a team to place but that gets old quick. Like you do it and then you start realizing it's not about you at all. It's about these kids. So just make sure that when you're going out there, the kids are having fun. They like being part of the team, build that camaraderie, and they'll come to practice. I promise you. Like if you make it a fun environment for them, they'll show up. If they're stressed out because they're not scoring what you think they should be scoring, you're going to kill their confidence and you're going to lose them. And that's not what this is about. It's about kind of just embracing this little passion they have for math and building it into something that they could then use in the future. Problem solving is something that is like universal in whatever field you get into. If you're a strong problem solver, you're going to get rewarded in some way for that,
Keep it
so
positive.
Just work with those kids and also don't be like shy about going to other coaches. Like you see a good coach or a team that's winning, instead of kind of being like maybe envious or kind of mad at that happening, just go ask them, what are you doing? Like, can you explain to me how you host a practice? What topic should I focus on? If they're anything like me, like, it's no problem. I'll tell you exactly. You need a formula, I got the formula for you. Just ask. So just start being part of that circle and that community, and stick with it. A lot of coaches just give up because they run into a strong team across the city and, well, I'm never going to beat them, so let me just stop, and just stick with it, and you'll get better. You will.
Great advice. Great advice. Yeah. Great advice. And finally, how about for parents who have children who might want to join a math science team?
That's a tough one. I don't want to tell someone how to raise their kids, but I'd say, like, just let them struggle a little bit. Like a lot of parents are scared, like, well, they did number sense, but in elementary they would get first place all the time, and then they didn't even place in junior high. And it's okay. Like, if the kid likes placing, he's gonna work hard to try to get there. And whether they place or not, the kid's still better at math, right? They became a better problem solver. They're part of a team. They're working with people, and they're collaborating. So I say, instead of like when you pick them up and say, "What'd you place? Did you get first?" Maybe ask them like, "What kind of problems were on the test today?" Right? What'd you learn, or what kind of questions they ask you? And if the kid placed, I guarantee you they're dying to tell you anyway. So you're gonna find out if they placed or not. So just encourage them to just keep trying it and keep challenging themselves, and not to stress so much about what they place.
Great stuff. Hey, how does the team look for this upcoming year?
We did lose a big 8th grade group, but we have a pretty good 6th grade group moving up to 7th. And then we had a state champion in 7th grade moving up to 8th in calculators. So she'll be returning as Juliet Suarez, great kid. But she's got some good teammates in her grade level as well. So I think we got about, if I were to estimate right now, about maybe 21 already returning.
Oh, wow.
And then we'll add on the new 6th graders coming. I don't know anything about the 6th graders yet, but I'll meet them soon, I'm sure.
All right. So y'all looking strong.
We'll see. I mean, you never know, man. Like, there's years where I thought I had the best team, and then some random school just pops up and beats us, So,
hey, so
I've learned to not.
Rival this year?
Our main, it's always Ford Settlement, man. I mean, I don't think we're their rival because they're so strong, but for us, it's always like, if you're gonna win state, you're gonna have to go through Ford Settlement, man. There's no way around it.
Hey, decades now. For decades.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and I see, like, I've seen those high school kids you interview, like. I don't know exactly sure where they went, but I remember the names like Dylan and Justin Lai.
Go to Clemens High School, man.
Yeah,
Clemens,
Andrew Kai and all them. Yeah, I saw them since they were in middle school. Big fans of theirs.
Control, man.
Love seeing it. Whether they beat us or not, I appreciate their performance, and I appreciate their talent.
You applaud their academic excellence. You applaud.
Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely. I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. Hey, any final words or parting thoughts as we conclude this interview?
I just want to thank you, man, for what you're doing for these kids. I think it's great to give them a platform to, showcase their talent and their hard work and their dedication. And then my nephew put me onto that Discord server you got going for them. So they got their own little network of, math nerds that love it, man. And I say nerds in a good way. Don't take it like anything bad. Compliment in my book. But, just thank you for what you're doing. And, to the kids out there, just keep grinding and enjoy that grind, man, because that's where you get better, and that's what you're going to be able to take with you for the rest of your life, that hard work and those skills you pick up along the way.
Thanks for your kind words. And Mr. Adrian Chapa, I really love the energy you're putting out, man. And the truth of the matter is, what you do is so awesome, man. When you put that fire, when you put that passion into these kids, especially at the middle school, junior high age, they're so impressionable, and the impact that you're having on their, academic trajectory, it's incalculable. You can't measure that, man, but you're doing some awesome work over there. Keep the fire going, keep the passion going, and I love what you're doing, buddy. I love what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
We're now connected. We're networked now. So here's the point. I go down there to the valley. Maybe I have lunch with Oscar and maybe Kevin, Daniel, some of these guys. I feel like I got a little, and I went to high school in the Valley, so I have a whole network. Hey, man, we got to get together, get some tamales or something. Have a good time.
Yeah, we'll throw something on the pit, man. Don't worry about it.
Oh yes, that's even better. Even better.
Yeah, I know all those boys though. I run into them. The Daniel and Brian. I mean Derek Lee and all them. So great kids. It'll be great to meet up and we'll have a lunch or something together.
Let's put some meat on the pit. I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there, buddy. Hey, I appreciate you. Best of luck to your team, and I hope our paths cross soon, buddy.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, so.
You take care and farewell, buddy. Farewell. Wow, what a great and fascinating discussion with Mr. Adrian Chapa, a proud Kenneth White Hawk. Down there in the valley, he provides such a fascinating perspective of middle school mathematics. I really appreciate it, Mr. Chapa. Thank you very much for that much needed and wonderful perspective on junior high competitive mathematics. Let me take a moment and ask that if you enjoy this content, that you please hit the subscription button and the notification bell, that you make a comment below, and that you smash that like button. I have plenty of wonderful, great things in store for this channel, and I really appreciate your support. My name is Saul Cantu, and this is Texas Math